The journey to its realization has been long and arduous, but today Charleston can commemorate and share a profound and precious legacy. Let's welcome Brandon Reed, public historian for the International African American Museum, who's here to share more on upcoming events and celebrations. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And very big congratulations on the museum and the work that you've done there. Also happy Kwanzaa, which we'll be talking about later on. But first, if you can share with us just a quick history that has led us up to this day, this year, that was just so important for the museum.
Absolutely. So we opened the project, it's been about 6 months already.
Yeah.
Feels like a little bit longer than that, but it's been a 20-year project in the making. So starting from a realization that we want to do our best to preserve the African American story, particularly here in Charleston. And as we continue to do a little bit more research, found out all of the rich legacy of Charleston and so on and so forth, all the different organizations that are telling this story as well. We wanted to make sure we did something not only a little bit different, but also something that encompassed the full history of its national and international story as well.
Absolutely. And when you mention different, because as a historian, and you've seen the opening of other museums and other opportunities for people to come and to learn more about the African American experience, but how would you say this museum is different from those other places?
So a lot of new museums lean very heavily into technology. It's a very interactive museum, and we do that as well through our Google Arts and Culture display screens, as well as our voting registration screens and so on and so forth. There's different technology that will enhance the experience, but we lean very heavily into the power of our place over on Gadsden's Wharf, and so it's a very immersive journey. And so you're losing yourself in these narratives and these stories and really understanding how all this is connected together.
And what I also find so fascinating, I don't know if other museums do this, but also the genetics and people being able to come and put their family tree together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so is that something that's unique to Charleston, or have you seen that happen in other places?
So it happens in other places to a certain extent. I will say that we have made that one of our full educational pillars and goals for this particular museum. Beyond our mission to educate and preserve, I always say that we want to take action as well. So we want to transform our visitors into griots, or the West African term for storytellers. So not only are you understanding this history in its full context, but you're understanding how your journey, how your family's journey connects to that, and how we all need to transform from onlookers of history to story keepers as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this is a wonderful experience, a wonderful opportunity for people to be able to discover who they're related to, who could be the neighbor right next door or upstate or in another state completely.
Absolutely.
But you do have some really interesting events that are coming up, and I want you to go ahead and tell the audience what you do have on tap at the museum.
Yes, so we have been very ambitious this first year. We're actually launching our third special exhibition, which is Creative Gathering, on view now until January 14th. So that is a way for us to take a pause on all the different things that we're doing and telling these unique and diverse stories, to really center some of the artists who have donated their works and donated their time and experience and pieces to the museum to talk about the global African diaspora. And so you'll see artwork, you'll see paintings, you'll see all these different pieces which really come together and center the museum as a space for gathering, as a space for information, as a space for conversation, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I love it. And it's a very tranquil place to be as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Also, you're going to be celebrating Kwanzaa, and I want to, we've talked about Kwanzaa in past years, and there are 7 pillars that are the foundation for the celebration of Kwanzaa, and I want you to share with our audience as well what each day represents.
So there are the 7 pillars. You have those that focus on purpose, on self-determination, on cooperative economics, and so on and so forth. Really just centering the idea of the transformation of West African principles and traditions into African American society and culture. So each of these principles are a way for us to understand not only our roots, but how are we still using those knowledges, those West African values in today's modern society as well. How am I making sure that what I'm doing is not only in conversation with what someone else is doing, but we're all working together as well.
Absolutely.
So through purpose, cooperative economics, self-determination, and everything else that we're doing, and sort of tying all those principles in together, we really want to make sure that for us, Kwanzaa is not only a homecoming for all of our visitors and our audience, but really a way to come in and be able to celebrate themselves within the story as well.
I think that's beautiful. And then come January 1st, you have another celebration, which is Freedom's Eve. And what does that signify exactly?
Yes, so Freedom's Eve is sort of a tie-in to Emancipation Day, which is very much celebrated here in the Low Country. So oftentimes you'll have the the Watch Night on New Year's Eve, and this is in recognition of for the Low Country, for the enslaved here in the Low Country. They look at Emancipation Day as a celebration of the enslaved community here in the Low Country, recognizing that they are now have gained their freedom. And so as Onwards from Freedom's Eve, we really wanted to be in conversation with that topic and that theme, but to have sort of a gathering space, again, for everyone to come in and now let's make a mission, or let's work together to figure out what we can do for the rest of the year as well.
I think that's a wonderful way to start the year. So 2024, it sounds like it's going to start off bright and
absolutely,
promising. That's
absolutely.
wonderful. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for sharing with us, and we'll look forward to seeing what you have on tap in 2024. We'll make sure to have you come back in and share with us. But thank you so much.
Awesome.
And Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year to you.
You as well.
Thank you. We're back after this.